Captain on the bridge.
Alright, captains, we are back on the bridge, and today we've got some things to go over from the Star Trek Online official Twitter feed. So on screen. Yes. So before we do so, subscribe here to the YouTube bridge, like the video, comment below, let us know what you're more excited about in terms of future content that is possibly to come down here to Star Trek Online. So we got two things to go over. First thing, PC captains can earn bonus marks throughout the game this weekend. We head over there. Bonus marks weekend. So this weekend starting Thursday, January 26th. And it goes to Monday, January 30. We are running a special event where captains can earn bonus marks by playing content throughout the game. During the event, content that provides marks, fleet, or reputation will reward a 50%, 1.5 times bonus above normal amounts. This bonus is available for all content that rewards marks. Start building your fleet projects and reputations. We hope you enjoyed this special event, and we will see you in game. So there you go, my caps. You know our recommendation, or if not, what we'd like to do is recommend to do these events so that you can build up, like they said in the blog, your reputations. But if you're already all built out, these marks can be converted for dilithium ore, so that you can use that ore to convert to Zen, and use the Zen to buy ships for the pretty pew-pews. So the other thing and last thing that we wanted to go over in this quick little video was this little announcement from yesterday. So eagle-eyed readers may have noticed a new name on today's welcome message, and it's true. Jarrod Fisher has become our executive producer, and he'll be doing his first chat with you on 10 Forward. Now, this was last night, but as I was listening to it, I could not help but think of the future. Now, when I say future, I really mean the immediate, because as I've mentioned in some previous videos, when Cryptic plans things out, they're about 6 months to a year ahead. And there are some things mentioned here where things kind of change as they go. Nothing is set in stone, but they have to manage their time and make sure that the content comes out when it is supposed to come out. And that is kind of the job, of course, of Jarrod Fisher now, who is the executive producer. Now, we're going to head over to Reddit here, and credit to where credit is due. Again, this post is by the Shajukar. We're going to go over the notes here that he took, and I believe they always do this whenever there's a 10 Forward. But again, I wanted to kind of touch bases on this just a little bit. So again, Jarrod, he has been there for 14 years, and when I was listening, it sounds like he was there when the game was being tested. So originally hired as a tester right there for Champions at launch, then moved to Stowe. And then moved into production over 9 years ago, making it to executive producer. It's more Al's bag, it's coming up to stories than Jarrod's, but Cryptic is now working on the next release. It's going to be right now. So the next release, I believe it sounds like next year, but it could be soon. But as I'd mentioned, with all these voiceovers, with all these actors that they're giving in the story, they need to plan this ahead, and they need to schedule this ahead, especially with Star Trek actually being on television right now. So we'll keep going here. Jarrod's philosophy is based around maintaining the consistent pattern of releases and what they can put out in that time without killing the dev. So I like that. My experience, of course, working in real life, sometimes you do get that whip behind your back because they're trying to drive you. But when you have someone at the top who is concerned about their staff, about their crew, you get a sense that the work that they will put out is actually good quality work. That's just my opinion. So I did like this when he was talking about this. It's rare something gets cut from release nowadays, and if it does get cut, it usually winds up in the next release. So that was kind of interesting to hear. So it sounds like they got everything that they wanted to implement, but they are cooking a couple of things there. Endeavor started off as something wildly different than they turned out to be. So again, that's one of the content they thought they were going to release, and then all of a sudden, it is what it is, as it stands right now. Cryptic had been internally complaining about not having a good event system for many years. Before they made the event system revamp, he was asked about took the longest initial idea to coming out. It says it's likely something that took longer, but it doesn't know. So again, the event campaign system is one of the best ways to get a promo / premium ship in game. Yes, it takes about half a year. I say half a year to maybe 3/4 of a year, because on my PlayStation account, it took, I think, about 3.5 events or 4 events to get it. And I already got my prize box, and I'm way ahead in my progression there, and I'm just literally getting and reaping the rewards for it. So I'm very happy that the event campaign system is here, and I hope they just keep it and or even expand on it. I don't know what that would look like, but one of the things I would like is possibly not have it so that you need to accumulate 3,500 points, but I get it. It's about, getting those numbers of metrics, logging in and such, but something else, I don't know, maybe add a reward, because now for the reward, you get either a promo ship, 2 tier 6 ship coupons, or low buy. What else could they add in there that would make it worth more time? A trade package, a bundle, I'm not sure. Cruise, exclusive things that can only get through event campaigns, maybe something like that would be interesting to add there. So Kale said if we liked last year's bundle, we would like this year. So we know already of the 2 ships, so this is going to be a Terran Prometheus and a Terran Aquarius. The other ships we will find out soon, and I'm pretty sure they're just getting out all of the anniversary content out there, let the community sort of digest it, and then of course throw this at you. Now the release of this is normally in February, so we're going to see it very soon, and know that we will cover that and always drop our 2 ECs there. So there's not too much bad blood between Stowe and Shatner, it's just that they're not the right time or the right offer to get him in. I always heard this one that there was bad blood, something about a dev trying to bug Shatner, and then they got blocked. But this is no surprise, the right offer. Let's be honest, captains, we know that it takes moolah, real ECs, to get voice actors here in game, and the only reason why we get them in game is because the game is quote unquote doing well. So as much as some of us do not agree with the way things go, especially in acquiring promo ships and such like that, they're giving us other ways and methods, but the main way to get a voice actor here is through in real life money. And it would be nice to have Mr. Kirk himself here along with Picard, but it needs to make sense for both parties. Cryptic is going to continue to make these big arcs that last over several seasons. Now, I'm not opposed to this. Now, I released our playthrough of the featured episode that is wrapping up the Terran arc there on the channel there earlier this morning, and that is by far one of the best episodes that I've played. And I mentioned this at the beginning of the episode playthrough there, that it kind of gave me the Iconian vibes, that epic feel, and the grand finale, everything came together. There, I may have some criticisms, but it's still not enough to knock down the score from the 10 out of 10 I gave it. I'm okay with the big arcs. The thing is, I would like more story. I've said this before in my video, I believe in the update video or the review video of 2022. I would just like more story. And it doesn't need to have voice actors from the Star Trek Legacy shows. It doesn't. They've made episodes before that don't have any voice actors, but they were good. So I hope they can sort of supplement these big arcs, because looking at the YouTube log there, the last time I did the playthrough of the episode before Fujiwara Effect was 4 months ago. See, and it just takes literally one night to get through, an hour to get through the episode, and then now what? We have to wait another 4 months. I understand there's a lot that works going into them, but if there's some way that they can come out with releasing 1, 2 little episodes at least once a month, I think that would go a long way in keeping the community engaged in Star Trek, even on a subconscious level where they're just logging in to see the next story. And then if they're in, there's a opportunity for captains to spend resources. So I'm just throwing that out there. Again, that's something we covered already, but that's kind of like what I would like to see. So Jarrod says the data on what they've been doing for the last few years has been really good, and he doesn't think it needs to change in any big way. Maybe small changes here and there, but mostly the same of what they've been doing. Again, another point that we've touched on in terms of the way they make money. We just said it earlier, ships. That is the way they make money. And I get it. I just wish that they would actually not leave money on the table so that they can get more money. My suggestion is to have, let's say, the recent release ship, the World Razor. Okay? Release it. Put it in a lockbox. All good. In about 3 months' time, 4 months' time, to those captains who cannot get that ship, why not give us the option of a tier 5 ship? No specialization. Heck, don't even make it upgradable. I just want the skin. I can make any ship work. Think about it. It's an unlocked skin, and it doesn't have to be the standard price of 3,000. Make it 4,000. Make it 4,000. Have an extra 1,000 Zen, so that you don't necessarily push captains away, because there are a lot, and I'm not just talking about the World Razor. There's many ships. A great example of that is the Cerritos from Lower Decks. Captains, I love Lower Decks, okay? And I never thought I'd get the Cerritos or the California class, but because of the show, I wanted it. And that's what I mean. If you have a captain that comes and plays and says, well, I want that ship, well, how am I gonna get it? Well, it's a promo ship. Oh. Or you can wait a year. Oh. So if there is an immediate alternate option other than the promo ship, but just a tier 5 ship that we all know and I'll stand behind, that can get through the end game content, why not give us that option? And then of course you can still put upgrades on it, so you can still even make more money off of that ship to upgrade it. You can make it then a fleet, you can then make it a tier 5X, and so on and so forth. So again, just throwing that out there, it would be nice to have just more options, especially when it comes to the Dilex. Yes, it has come down, and I think we're going to go over that in a bit here, but when it comes to Dilithium, there needs to be more options to spend money on. So another option is, why not get that to unlock the skin itself? A tier 4 version, just to have the ship. I can guarantee you that tier 4 ship, if built correctly, can still do the events. Like a Red Alert can do fine, especially if you're with a group of captains. Again, I'm just throwing out those ideas. If it's really about making the money, why not then try that out? I'm not saying it's the best idea, no, but that's the idea that I have. So, would like the story frequency to change, would like the way that they give us options to get ships. Again, I love the event campaign, but if you're going to tell someone it's going to take them half to 3/4 of a year and or a real substantial amount of money, that might push someone away who's a potential captain that will fall in love with the game because they have the ship and they can enjoy the content that way. So Jarrod would like to do a season that remasters the removed Klingon War missions, but there's a lot of work that needs to go into these. Right now they're focused on the new storyline, but it might happen in the future. It's something they think/talk about. I don't think this is going to happen anytime soon because of their focus. And it's easy to say, get more staff, but it really isn't, because the time it takes to train someone in a system that is, 1, an antique, 2, they have schedules to make, and with the limited staff, well, I don't say limited staff, with the staff that they do have now, they have issues all over the place. So I get it, but you did it before. So why not dedicate a quarter of a season, a quarter, to rework mission, and it doesn't even have to all of them. Just every 3 quarters revamp a mission. Add that in the schedule. Don't do it all at once, and I bet you the player base will be happy with knowing that the missions are coming back. So again, my 2 ECs. If you had a blank check to do a storyline with any actor, Jarrod would do a story with Picard, and it's 100%, and I say this all the time, he's not getting any younger. Okay, he said actually the TNG crew, which we kind of have already, Worf, Geordi, and now Beverly and Will. It'd be nice, right? Who else are we missing? Let's get Data in there. Let's get Deanna in there, right? Let's then of course get Picard. It would be really, really nice. Some of the challenges involved in fixing the Dilex. So here we go. Involves finding something that can be purchased over and over again for Dilithium. Okay, there are a couple of things they're making to help the Dilex. It's something they're always thinking about. Again, thinking about, but we need to do something about it. We need to do something about it. Again, my suggestions are, yes, fine. Things to buy over and over again, whatever that may be. But what I think that could be, and it doesn't have to be necessarily something that I would buy over and over again, but in a sense I would, is put traits and consoles in the Dilithium store. Make it a fear of missing out event, just like the vanity shields. Put items in the Phoenix prize pack. That needs a huge update, in my opinion, because there's nothing really that I get from it other than Phoenix tech upgrades. Now, having said that, to a newer player, I can see the different kind of view, but they have to try to find a more middle, general, wider common ground so that it covers all their bases. So again, my suggestion is put in traits, consoles, really desirable items in the Dilithium store, in the Phoenix prize pack, so that Dilithium can be used, especially by newer captains who are going to be, quote unquote, grinding their way to get these things. Could you imagine if you'd be able to buy, let's say, DPRM? You still have the option of the ship. If you want the prototype Dreadnought, the Atlas, it's there for you. Full tier 6 bells and whistles, there you go. But if you just wanted the console, pay 2 million dill, put it in the ultra rare or epic Phoenix tiers as a fear of missing out event, just like the vanity shields. Put it in the very limited time. Stuff like that would go a long way, in my opinion. I could be wrong. It'd be nice to hear from a dev on what they think about that, but just throwing that out there. And I'm pretty sure I'm not the only one who has suggested that. Crypto can look into moving rarely bought items in the Infinity Box into purchasable dill in the future. I don't really see anything there for me personally, because I don't open that box a lot. Usually I get what I get, but I will say there is a lot of junk in the lockbox that takes up inventory space, so like bonus pool marks, Dilithium claims. Those things are just not needed. And sure, maybe put those, but then I would think that those things wouldn't be desirable to buy either. I would say just take them out and rework the odds of getting shipped. So speaking of the World Razor earlier, I think I heard someone open over 500 boxes, maybe even more, and not get any ships. It's only they open maybe about 300 more, 400 more is when they got a ship. Those odds suck. Did I open boxes? Yes, I did. I admit it. So every time that there's a lockbox, I do set a limit and I stay within it for the low buy. And if by chance, by some sort of miracle, I get a ship, great. And that is how I've been getting some of these event ships, or these promo ships, I should say, because I've had my luck over the years. This is nothing that has been a short-term no. And I'm down to my 2 last boxes. I have 1 Infinity box left and 1 promo box left. So I don't think I've won anything in the last 2 years, but I'm not opening it to get ships. And always my recommendation is, if you're going to go for a ship, get the keys, get the promotional packs, sell them on the exchange for EC to get the ship you want. So again, something I think that they would need to look at is taking out a bunch of stuff from the lockbox completely and not putting it anywhere else. I don't know, maybe put them in the Dilithium store to at least give a chance, because the bonus pull marks, those are good, especially if you're building up reps. Dilithium claims, sure, if you like to do that game. I have stopped that, to be honest, and I don't know how many Dilithium claims I have, so just again, my thoughts on that matter. Jarrod's looking into making a new medical coat for work for the boss. It's a bit more complicated than most outfits since it isn't set up like a regular outfit. So they're talking about the reward that you get from doing the new featured episode, the Fujiwara effect. That's why I put on the thumbnail free, and it says there med coat. I messed around with it last night and it was hilarious. There's two options. You get like a fabric option, and then you kind of get like this leather look to as a second option. And I made my character look like a Matrix character, because you can make it like all black, put some shades on, and you have a Matrix character in Star Trek Online. It would be nice if, yes, your boss could have it, especially if you have a doctor on it. So hopefully that is something they can work out. Cryptic's metrics measure player engagement, how many are playing, how frequent, what times of the day are the bulk of players, what kinds of things are being purchased, and how much. It focuses on what players are most interested in. They also look into struggle points. That's interesting. What players are struggling with, to fix those. So we all know it's always about the metrics, the mighty metrics. And when it comes to things being purchased, well, the only reason why they keep doing lockboxes or promo packs is because they do well. So again, something mentioned earlier, they will do more of the same that they've done previously, because that's the formula that works for them to get them the money. So again, it would be nice for them to just really look into it, as opposed to just, yeah, we're looking at, no, do something about that. And the struggle points, I mean, most of the struggle points that I hear and see is newer players can't get through past missions, but then let's say I'm watching a streamer, I see their power levels are just all balanced across the board, even though they have the majority of energy weapons. The game doesn't do a real good job of teaching power management or where power should be allocated in certain builds, and how they sort of address that would be through the tutorials. Obviously, you have content creators like Casual, SAB, aka Spencer, McStew, who explains all that. Sometimes I will, but that's just through experience over the years. So struggle points was interesting for me to read, because like, what else could a player struggle with? I mean, if you had a player logging in every day, you see that their account has reached 65 and then they leave, what does that tell you? Is that a struggle point to you, or is that just a drop off? Is that just meant that the player is just in for the new content? So obviously there's a huge spike when new content comes in. I see a lot more streamers, especially ones who are variety streamers on Twitch, especially, just come in for the story, and then you kind of look out for them in the Star Trek category, but after they do all the new things to do, they're off to their next game, which is fine. But then what does that tell you? Is that a struggle point, or is that just meaning to you that's just a number where you know that with new updates come bigger numbers? So struggles to me, again, kind of just talks to builds, not being able to get to missions, being frustrated and such, or staying in missions long, not being able to complete them. So it'd be interesting to see if they kind of elaborate that in the future. So last point here, Jarrod says the future of Muds Market to keep putting stuff in Muds. Items from Muds might find themselves in other places. So I guess the last thing that I would like to see here, and we kind of already do have this option through and via the event campaign, which is a promo ship. Because most of those bundles that are coming into the Muds are actual promo ships, past promo ships. We get that to the event. Now, it would be nice if there was another sort of system to get that, and or cheapen the price, because man, it just feels like such a huge hit, especially in Muds Market. There's a majority of items in the Muds Market which are from previous events, so those things I don't necessarily need. The only thing that I bought from Muds Market is the Geordi buff. That's it. everything else there, and I might have had, well, no, I'm not might, I did have a moment where I was contemplating on buying the Kelvin bundle there for a second, but I already had the 3 ships of the 4, possibly 5 I wanted in that bundle, so I was like, doesn't make sense to be a sort of account unlock, because most of those, for me personally, I put all those ships on my main because my main has all the items, all the sort of things to make my builds from. Now, having said that, it would be also awesome if they give us an option to actually have these promo ships account unlock. Charge us, again, money on the table, 1,000 Zen, 2,000 Zen, 2,500 Zen, almost the cost of a new ship, to unlock a ship that we want to have across the board. Again, I think that just the more options, the better, and it's not like they can't do it, because obviously the systems are in place. When you unlock a ship, C-Store, guess what? It's account unlock, right? Even if it's a ship that you've already bought, if you bought it again from the C-Store, it goes account wide. So I don't know, obviously, what goes into making things happen like that, but I think, again, it's just money being left on the table. So I thought this would be a great opportunity in this video to talk about the future of Star Trek Online, only even it being the next year. Because, and I guess I'll kind of leave it on this. I find that, I don't want to say I was disappointed last year that I didn't see more Gearbox's hands in the game, but when I said that we give it about a year and then we'll see what happens, well, it's been a year and some. I feel that the only time the Gearbox will actually sort of intervene is if Stowe is losing money. So we all know this is an older game, but it has a potential to be actually to go on for a bit more because of how tied it is at the hip with current Star Trek. So what that looks like, again, I don't know. So the future of, at least the immediate future, looks like more of the same. Same amount of episodes, same amount of ships that they want to put out there for money. But again, the things that we talked about previously in this video, we would like them to work on, to implement, so that it's not about just status quo. Because there was a comment on the YouTube channel where they mentioned that it just feels like Stowe is in maintenance mode, which I somewhat agree, because it kind of almost coincides with the statement that Jarrod made, where they're just going to go with what works. So they're just cruising, they know what they're doing, they know what works, and going outside that will require more time investment. So it's easier for them to just stay the course. So at least for the immediate future, we know what to expect from our new executive producer. And I hope things that they do actually talk and think about is something they really work on for the sake of Star Trek Online. Because we all love this game, Captains. I love this game. It has brought me so much joy and is a great escape for me, especially at the end of the day, to just unwind and, of course, spend the time here with you, Captains, especially when we're streaming. So thought we would go over that. It's a bit of a longer video than I had thought, but why not throw down ECs whilst the ECs were there to throw down. So like the video, comment below, Captains, let us know what you would like to see in this upcoming year and or even beyond. And of course, subscribe here to the YouTube Bridge, and we will leave it on this note.
Live long and prosper.